Mike Allen moved it forward this morning by saying he's been called all last night, that there are dozens of people in the White House telling him it's
two. He cited two officials he talked to, and one of them said there are dozens
and dozens.
That's what one of the two people he spoke with. Two people in the administration who said they felt like the words were taken out of their mouth.
The odious smell of truth to it, that there are dozens.
Well, what is the truth? Is the fact that he operates unconventionally? No, everyone knows that.
Oh, I think if you read that op-ed, it's more than, quote, unconventional.
Unconventional is much closer to amoral, if not immoral.
You know, if I was running a company,
was Bill Clinton immoral or amoral?
But see, why is that? Why is every time we have this conversation about morality, it gets we somehow turn it into a competition between President Trump.
Okay, wait a second. He's petty. He's impetuous. He changes his mind. He changes his mind really quickly, and we had to give him a summary on Hezbollah because he wasn't. I mean, none of those things are, to me, seem like the end of the world. Impetuous? You're impetuous.
But if you read the op-ed, it says that he is off the rails. Who
wrote the op-ed, Walter? What if it's what if it's a guy who's 150?
Then I will agree with you. The New York Times shouldn't have printed it if it's a total nobody. If there are dozens of people,
Bill Kristol could have written it. Any never-Trumper could have written it that we've been hearing from since the election.
But it was a senior administration official, and you and I know that in the guessing game we've had in the past day, there are at least a dozen people, even people who work at the White House, think it might be this person.
You know, some of this is not new. Reince Priebus told me for the new chapter in my paperback that take everything you know and multiply it by 50. You know, this is not the first time that people have had to take papers off the president's desk. Haldeman famously had to talk Nixon off the ledge and sometimes just defy orders like bomb the Brookings Institution. But, you know, this is not a Michael Wolff. This is not Bob Woodward. This is somebody at the highest levels of this administration. We don't know who it is, but you can be sure. No, you can be sure the Times wouldn't have gone with this unless this was somebody who was very high ranking. Now, that doesn't mean that this version of events is true or that this portrait of the White House is true. We're going to find out. I think that we're going to know who this person is probably sooner than later.
That would be my guess.
Although, you know, it was 30 years before we learned that Deep Throat was Mark Felt.
Yeah, what are the ramifications for the individual?
Well, if it's a senior enough person, you go either way. You could have Bob Barnett getting him both a book deal and speaking tours, or the guy could be humiliated. I think that if we find out who it is, there will be a mass group of people, 6 to 12 people all at once coming forward.
And by the way, my guess is it'll be both.
Yeah.
Both, you'll be celebrated in some circles and humiliated in others.
I think this
What do you think the consequence of this is?
Well, the
consequence is
going
to blow over.
It means Kavanaugh's not going to get confirmed. Oh, maybe not.
Well, it depends on whether we learn this person's identity sooner rather than later. I think, like, this is the most famous, could become the most famous anonymous piece since George Kennan's long telegram in 1947 from the Soviet Union. He was warning us to contain the Soviet Union. This person is saying that Donald Trump has to be contained. And I think it may go down in history as one of the most famous anonymous pieces ever written.
It is just an accumulation after a while. And the weird thing is these things accumulate, and we say, well, we kind of already knew that. I mean, the Bob Woodward book, too, is filled with a lot of things that are very credible. Bob Woodward does not make up quotes. Bob Woodward is, you know, never been proven wrong in any of his books that he's put out.